You're watching the special coverage of Women's T20 World Cup, Quest for Queendom. Speaking of comebacks, what a comeback Indian cricket team has made. They clawed out of the losses in the first two games to register a resounding win over Sri Lanka. They ticked many of the boxes that they had failed to in the last two matches, their first two in the tournament. And it's been an incredible turnaround for India. So before we look at what's next, let's tell you what went right. They were criticized for their slow run rate, for playing conservatively. The seniors were criticized for not taking more onus in pushing for some explosive batting at the top. That game against New Zealand was a rude awakener, a shock for India. They self-combusted with Harmanpreet, the captain, completely losing her focus and the edge. This match saw the two key players in that lineup, the senior most, stand up and deliver. Harmanpreet Kaur and Smriti Mandhana played crucial knocks, both scoring half centuries against Sri Lanka to put the pressure back on the opposition from the get-go. In fact, that top order who had failed really stood strong, with Shefali also chipping in at the top. That was the most important takeaway from this game. When your top order scores, especially in these conditions, half the battle is won. Then, of course, came the bowling, and of course, Arundhati and Asha Shobhana stifled the opposition so well. Just about everyone is speaking, though, of one thing alone, and it's that catch. A stunning catch by Radha Yadav running backwards that sent the opener, and that really was the highlight of India's win. And it completely wowed everyone. That catch went viral and social media platforms started buzzing. Yes, that catch was stunning, and there's a couple of reasons for that. It wasn't an easy one. First of all, running backwards and trying to take a catch will always be a hard act. It's one of the most difficult attempts to make. Secondly, catching in day and night games when India has not even trained under lights in the lead up to the World Cup and jumped right into the warm-up games is very difficult. Coming to Dubai, that massive stadium that has a different kind of lighting system, that makes catching particularly a challenge. You'll see why. And normally in stadiums, let's take a look at Sharjah here. That's how Sharjah looks. You have floodlights like the ones that you can see on the screen right there behind me, similar to what you catch in almost all cricket grounds. The traditional light towers, the shapes and sizes, of course, vary from different stadiums and different countries too. This is just as difficult. It can blind you. But let's take a look at the Dubai Cricket Stadium. The stadium at DCIS looks like this. It has a ring of light that runs around the roof, and it's called the Ring of Fire, and for a reason, because it's completely different. It's like a glittery disco ball. It's bright, and it takes some time getting used to. That's one of the things that players need to get used to and adjust to every time they play here at this stadium. It won't blind you, but it is an unusual pattern that takes a while to acclimatize to. That's why this catch was one of the best in the tournament so far. Now, I'll go back to what I started with. Why, this particular catch is going to be a big challenge for women cricketers in particular. The percentage of day and night matches women play is far lesser than what the men play. It's 41% to 18% when you look at T20 cricket that both have played since 2021 under lights. That's a stark difference. Now, I understand that these are professional cricketers, and you do get used to these conditions and adverse situations, and that's what makes them pros. But it is challenging nevertheless. Moving on to what lies ahead in India's group. Let's take a look at where everyone's placed. India thanks to that comprehensive win, have managed to up the net run rate into a better situation. That margin of win helped, but here is what they need to do to qualify for the semi-final. If they beat Australia, then they are more comfortably placed, at least relatively, because they need to hope that New Zealand and Pakistan lose one of their games ahead. The easiest path would be Australia losing both of the remaining games, which we know is unlikely. It may come down to the net run rate in almost all the scenarios, with New Zealand having the advantage of playing that last group game. So they'll know what's the equation that they need to try and achieve to stop India from making it to that semi-final. So it's all very tense yet. India needs to stop one of the most dominant sides in this World Cup in order to keep their World Cup dreams alive.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election, explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained, every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.